for everything that goes beyond the norm. You have to let go of your certainties, embrace new forms of energy. Go all the way. Because nothing is impossible if you break the mold. The all-new Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. On to better.
At AIB, we've always backed your belief with a fair mortgage, which is why we've lowered our fixed rates even further and still offer some of the most competitive variable rates on the market. These new rates are available to you as a new or existing customer looking to move, buy your first home, or switch to AIB. Talk to our mortgage team today about our new lower fixed rates or visit AIB.ie. AIB. We back belief.
Welcome back. The main news this evening. The HSE is warning that the availability of intensive care beds in the country is becoming perilous. As the Taoiseach confirmed, level 5 restrictions will remain in place beyond the end of this month. Paul Reid said 318 people are in intensive care, more than 2/3 of whom have COVID-19. 4 men, 3 of them from Ireland, have been jailed in connection with the deaths of 39 Vietnamese nationals who were being smuggled into the UK in 2019. The 4 received sentences of between 13 and 27 years. The bodies of the victims were found in a lorry trailer in Essex in the UK. Gardaí are questioning a teenager in connection with a serious assault in Dublin on Wednesday. A woman in her late 40s was attacked and robbed at the Irish Financial Services Centre at around 9:30 p.m. She remains in a critical condition in hospital. This evening, the Department of Health confirmed 2,371 new cases of the coronavirus, while 52 more people have died with COVID-19. The 14-day incidence rate per 100,000 people nationally stands at 1,017.1. There are 1,931 people in hospital with COVID-19, with 219 of these in intensive care. Of the tests carried out over the past 7 days, 10.8% were positive. Now, with figures like those, hospitals are under increasing pressure. In Waterford, there has been a 10-fold increase since December in the number of COVID patients admitted to the University Hospital.
In mid-December, there were 12 patients with COVID-19 diagnoses in University Hospital Waterford. This week, that number hit 123, with dozens more suspected cases.
Year to date 2021, we've actually had more positive COVID cases than we had in the entirety of 2020.
A new 90-bed wing was earmarked last year as the hospital's COVID pathway.
We never foresaw that we would actually have numbers that would mean we would need to actually go back into the main hospital. But now the Dunmore wing itself behind us is actually full of COVID positive patients, and we also have another 2 designated wards in the main hospital.
One of the areas hardest hit has been the Tramore and Waterford City West electoral district, with an incidence rate running at more than twice the national average in recent weeks.
We were absolutely hit with a tsunami in the third wave, where rates were up to 1 in 10 people locally were affected with COVID. So there was more socialising, more mixing. I think the mixed message of whether you were allowed mix or not, people thought we were out of the waves were being, the levels were being lifted. So there was a licence to maybe meet more people, and we paid the price for that dramatically here.
Waterford had been so good for so long, where we wouldn't have known anybody that was positive COVID, but now we all know somebody.
The area now has the 3rd highest incidence of COVID-19 in the country, with the 3rd wave of the virus having an effect here that the previous 2 did not. Conor Kane, RTÉ News, Waterford.
Well, as you've been hearing, the Taoiseach has confirmed that the current restrictions will not be eased as planned at the end of the month. The Cabinet will decide on how they'll continue next week. So to talk about how we're handling the current set of restrictions, we're joined now by Pete Lunn, Head of the Behavioural Research Unit at the ESRI, who also sits on the Department of Health's COVID-19 Communications and Behavioural Advisory Committee. Pete Lunn, thanks indeed for joining us this evening. We saw just there in the figures they're continued at that high pace, well over 2,000 new cases. The Gardaí announcing today that over 1,000 people have received on-the-spot fines for breaching the 5-kilometre rule. But broadly speaking, are we compliant with the current set of restrictions?
Good evening, Katrina. Yes. The behavioural data couldn't actually be more clear. The overwhelming majority of the population are complying with the restrictions. There's actually been a pretty steep increase in the amount of compliance since Christmas. And in fact, that's been strongest among younger people, among young adults. So at the moment, around 90% of the population is reporting staying at home rather than going out. The large majority are reporting complying as much as they can with the restrictions. And even if we ask them about what they see around them, about other people's compliance with the restrictions, again, the large majority are saying what they see around them is other people, most people or almost all people complying with the restrictions. So the public has put a lot of effort in here. There has been a real increase. But as you say, the case numbers are still high. We've got to keep going because this spike was so big, it's going to take us longer to suppress infection. So we're doing well, but we've got to keep going.
Now, when the Taoiseach says the restrictions will continue, are they the government broadly keeping in step with public opinion, or is there any appetite for them to be eased or lifted?
Again, the data couldn't be clearer. If you ask at the moment the direct question to the public, would you like to see more restrictions? The number of yeses outnumbers the number of noes almost 2 to 1. So overwhelmingly, the majority of the population supports the current restrictions. And if anything, they go the other way. If anything, they want to see more effort to flatten this current curve and to get the infection rate down. And I think when you hear stories like we just heard of what's going on in Waterford, and we're seeing this night after night, that's not hugely surprising. I mean, the behavioural data have been clear again throughout that the primary thing that's driving public opinion and public adherence to the restrictions is how worried they are about the impact of the disease. So when we see the effect on our health service being reported to us, that is driving a lot of the public compliance and support for the restrictions.
But what you're saying there, Pete, I mean, before Christmas, when the restrictions were eased, we heard a lot about the economic interest and the need to balance what you're talking about there, public health and protecting everyone in Ireland against keeping the economy going. So was the wrong decision made there by the government?
Well, I don't want to dwell on the past. I think we have to be constructive and look forward. And I think we have to learn from our mistakes as we go. Now, what I would say is this. Previously, we were thinking too much that this was a trade-off between lives and livelihoods. Economic damage on the one side, the number of infections on the other. Actually, the decision we face is more complex and difficult than that. And the reason is because of the nature of this disease. It's more like trying to drive in dangerous conditions where there's a penalty for going too slowly and you want to try and go quicker, and we want the economy to go quicker. But if you lose control, the result is calamitous. And that's the problem with this disease. It's hard to measure, it's hard to predict the number of infections, and if you lose control of it and you get a huge spike, the results are calamitous. And in fact, you end up with a false economy because you can open up for a period of time and you end up shutting down for much longer if you let infection get out of control. So I hope we've learnt the lessons, and what we need to do is go more slowly and cautiously. Yes, we want to open up as much of the economy and society as we safely can, but we need to do that more slowly, more cautiously, and importantly, we need to measure carefully as we go.
Pete, we're 10 months into this, though. You're talking about there an appetite for further restrictions and moving slowly than we have in the past. People are exhausted, they're worn down, they've made sacrifices at so many different levels. How do we keep going?
Well, interestingly, the public actually seems to be doing better than it was in the first lockdown. So the well-being indicators would indicate that. I heard earlier in your bulletin, I think it was a teacher saying, that children are actually coping better with the lockdown this time. And I think part of that is about us learning by doing. So yes, it's unpleasant. None of us are enjoying it. We're all fed up of it, and I'm certainly fed up of it. But we have to keep going. And actually, if anything, we are getting better at coping, which is what you'd expect, because human beings are highly adaptable, and we adapt to our circumstances when we have to. We genuinely are all in this together. We have to do this for each other to get these infection rates down. That's just the situation we find ourselves in. So we have to support each other, and we have to keep going. And all of the data that I see suggests that the public is up for that fight and is doing it.
Well, on that note of positivity, we'll leave it there for this evening. Pete Lunn, head of the ESRI Behavioural Research Unit, thanks for joining us.
The government has said it has no plans to relax rules for businesses seeking to access one of its key schemes designed to support businesses affected by the pandemic. The COVID Restrictions Support Scheme has paid out more than €200 million since its introduction in November, but there are growing complaints that too many companies are being excluded.
Normally a hive of outdoor activity, Killary Adventure Centre has been closed by the government restrictions since December. Despite being shut, though, it's been refused payments under the COVID Restrictions Support Scheme for the outdoor activities part of its business.
Our wages are being covered under the EWSS, which is brilliant, but unfortunately wages are not the only cost of running a business. You have insurance, loans, heat, electricity, web servers, planning, development, innovation. All these costs don't go away just because we're closed.
Introduced in the budget, the CRSS offers up to €5,000 a week to businesses whose premises have been forced to close or whose turnover has fallen 75% due to restrictions. Since it opened in November, $221 million has been sanctioned in respect of over 19,000 premises. Business groups say, though, this is less than might have been expected, considering the number of firms shut, and reflects the strictness of the criteria. Many caravan parks, for example, have been refused access because Revenue, which administers the scheme, says they don't have a fixed premises.
All caravan and camping sites have reception buildings, toilet, shower blocks. They pay commercial rates, they pay utility bills the same as every other business, and they're front-facing for their visitors.
Conferences and events have been ravaged by restrictions, yet businesses like Nicola McGrain's, which organise them, do not qualify.
We've invested so much in keeping those doors open over the last year. We will not be meeting again until 2022, so zero revenue is coming through our doors, and it's critical to keep this industry afloat.
And so a growing number of business groups are calling for the criteria to be widened. But the Department of Finance said that the Minister has no plans to amend the criteria. It said that the government will, however, continue to assess the impact of the pandemic on businesses and ensure that appropriate supports are in place. Will Goodbody, RTE News at the Department of Finance.
Our economics correspondent Robert Short is with us now. Robert, we'll talk about supports in a minute, but the Central Bank has published its quarterly report and some grounds for optimism depending on the vaccination programme.
Absolutely. The central bank points out that the vaccination programme is crucial if the economy is to recover in the second half of the year. And they say the prospects for the economy staging a strong recovery in the second half of the year are strong. One of the reasons is that there's been €13 billion squirreled away in deposit accounts across the country over the course of the past year. Now, of course, this isn't evenly spread. A lot of people have lost income due to losing their job during COVID-19. But there is a big chunk of that which will find its way back into the economy. Of course, some will be used to pay down debt or perhaps go on a foreign holiday, and there'll be little enough of that coming back. But the central bank does expect that accumulated base of savings will be a big boost for the economy. They're also cautious about Brexit. They say that the deal that was struck on Christmas Eve is much better than a no-deal outcome. However, they say it will still raise costs for companies trading, and they estimate that that will be about 1% of economic growth this year and could be as high as 4% over the next 7 years.
And returning to that question of supports that Will was reporting on there, the central bank sounding a note of caution about what happens when eventually those support schemes are withdrawn.
Yeah, so if the economy, as we all hope, stage a recovery in the second half of the year, then it's inevitable that some of those supports will be scaled back. And what the central bank is saying is, and they haven't quantified this yet, but that they fully expect that not every firm will make it back from relying on those supports, and that there will be business failures, there will be bad debts, and that we have to prepare for that.
OK, Robert, thanks indeed for that.
A family living near Carrigaline in County Cork has become the first in the country whose home has been connected to a high-speed fibre broadband network under the National Broadband Plan. National Broadband Ireland was awarded the contract and up to €2.7 billion in state funding to extend high-speed fibre broadband to more than 1 million people in areas not covered by existing commercial operators.
Elsa, you keep at your maths there. I'm just going to finish off this matching game with Hugo.
Okay. The O'Connor family live in Shanbally in County Cork, halfway between Carrigaline and Ringaskiddy. Since they set up home here 6 years ago, their broadband through a copper wire cable only allowed download speeds of 5 megabits per second. not even enough for homeschooling. But connection to National Broadband Ireland's fibre optic cable network has delivered download speeds 100 times faster.
Previously we had 5 megabytes per second, and now we're getting over 500, so it's a 100 times increase, which is fantastic for using multiple devices, downloading videos, video conferencing, video calling to grandparents, and even doing homeschooling. It's absolutely fantastic.
Notwithstanding the pandemic, National Broadband Ireland says thousands more connections to its network will follow in the months ahead.
We're working in all 26 counties, and we got customers, and I'm proud to say our first one hooked up now in Cork, the O'Connor family. So they're working in all 26 counties. Different parts of the project, of course. Some are designed, some are physically laying the cable.
National Broadband Ireland says at the end of the 7 years it will take to build its network, 1.1 million people in 500,000 homes, farms and businesses will have high-speed internet access which they couldn't get before. That will involve the rollout of more than 140,000 kilometres of cable, enough to circle the globe almost 4 times. Pascal Sheehy, RTE News, Fountainstown, County Cork.
Residents and staff at one nursing home in County Galway have said they're relieved to finally have received their COVID-19 vaccinations after months of effort to stay clear of the virus. People living in the Ballinderry home in East Galway were given their first shot of the Pfizer vaccine this morning.
After a long, hard winter, a glimmer of hope in Kilconnell, County Galway today. Residents, their relatives and staff here have worked round the clock since last March to keep this nursing home COVID-free. Having managed that, there was palpable relief as the vaccination programme got underway this morning.
The atmosphere here today is fantastic. Yeah, everybody is so happy and delighted and everything. And the majority of the staff didn't sleep last night thinking about it. It's a great day for us, you know.
The vaccine schedule ran like clockwork over 3 hours. Those living in the home were first to be seen, with people ranging in age from their 70s to some over 100 getting their first dose. Then it was the turn of nurses, carers and other staff.
It's been tough for everyone, including nurses, night staff, carers, everyone. It's been tough, few months but thanks be to God we got all our vaccines today, so happy out, waiting for the 28 days for the next one.
The sense of relief is most keenly felt by residents. As with their counterparts elsewhere, those living here have endured a difficult year, but now hope that spring will bring some respite and a move closer to some sense of normality.
You know, you're just worried at the back of your mind all the time, and it's on the media all the time about it, and it leaves you, well, pretty insecure. But then having got the injection, one feels better. You feel secure again and safe, very much so.
Pat McGrath, RTE News, Kilconnell, County Galway.
Still to come this evening, proud of our parents. Children of Frontline workers talk about how home life has changed for them during the pandemic.
And in Friday evening 6-1 Sports News, Rory McIlroy fails to build on his impressive opening round in Abu Dhabi and... Wishing nothing but the best, how Chorley, with the help of a former Killarney Celtic player, are hoping to be on song once more in the FA Cup.
Will you teach me to ride a bike tomorrow? Why not, Mom? Working. Dad? Fab. Okay.
Sheldon, it's great to have knowledge, but you don't need to show it off all the time.
Oh, I don't mind.
Young Sheldon continues tonight at 7:30 on RTE1 and RTE Player.
From moving out of the spare room to a place with space to spare. From first flat to first family home. From farmhouse to deep house. From a place you both call home to your working from home home. A new home is one of life's biggest moments, and we all know life doesn't always go to plan. That's why, at Bank of Ireland, our personalised mortgages can change if your life changes. When you're ready to make a move, we're ready to make it with you. Bank of Ireland. Begin.
Our Spar range is growing every day. As good as the best for less. Like Spar still and sparkling water, 2 litre, only 49 cents each. Spar toilet tissue, 4 rolls, only €1. And Spar spaghetti, 500 gram and bolognese sauce range from 49 cents. Wherever you see the tree.
As women, we deserve less. We deserve zero. Wait, what? I'm talking about periods. We deserve zero worries, zero feel.
With new Always Platinum, it's possible. Designed for up to 0 leaks. 0 odour, 0 bunching. With Always Platinum Zero Feel system.
Because when you get zero, you really get more. More possibility, more movement, more life. With Always Platinum.
Here's a question. Do you have a dry scalp? I'm not flirting, it's a genuine question. If you do, have this. Once you wash your hair with Head & Shoulders Supreme, you go from to Ooh. It's coconut. Ooh. Oh, everyone soothed? Supreme moisturization for dry scalps and hair.
This car is designed for the road. But the road is designed for everyone. Our streets are meant to be shared. Safely. Volvo XC40 with cyclist detection. For everyone's safety. Volvo.
For as long as Irish mammies have known what's best, since the day you flew through your own driving test.
Buy your car insurance online with Aviva and get 10% off, plus breakdown assistance as standard. For car insurance, you're safe in the hands of Aviva.
Welcome back. The main news this evening. The HSE is warning that the situation with intensive care beds in the country is becoming perilous. As the Taoiseach confirmed, level 5 restrictions would remain in place beyond the end of this month. Paul Reid said 318 people are in intensive care, more than 2/3 of whom have COVID-19.
Children of frontline workers have been telling how their lives have changed since the outbreak of the coronavirus. They've been speaking to News Today's Aisling Maloney, who has this report.
For children of frontline workers, the reality of the pandemic has not only changed their lives, but the virus has often invaded their homes.
When our mum only had COVID, she had to just stay in her room, and we just had to like social distance from her when she opens the door. We missed her, but we FaceTimed her a lot.
Their mother, Aoife, is a GP. The third wave of the pandemic has brought COVID-19 into their home.
It's been grand. It got a lot better once mum came out of the room, once dad tested positive, so we could all be together and everything.
And the worry that frontline workers might get sick is on many of their children's minds, like Emily Keane, whose mother Linda is an ICU nurse in University Hospital Limerick.
Sometimes I feel a bit worried because I worry that she might pick up something.
I find it sort of terrifying because he could bring home COVID to our family.
And those on the front line include Alan Cullen, who is a bus driver with Dublin Bus.
And I'm just nervous that him or my own, my family might get COVID or something like that.
But there is hope.
My dad has already had 1 dose of the vaccine. It's going to be good. It means he can hug and kiss us again. It means he can go to work and not be completely afraid that he's going to get it.
While children of frontline workers have experienced a lot of change, they say they are proud of their parents.
I'm very happy for them that they're helping everybody and that they're trying to do their best. I'm proud of you very much and well done, and to Dublin bus drivers for keeping their job going.
I would say to him, I'm really proud of you, and I'm so glad that you do this job for people and help them, and I'm just so proud of you.
I know she's a little bit stressed out at the moment, but she's always making time for us.
And a reminder that News Today is broadcast daily at 4:20 p.m. over on RTE2.
Now, Eamon is here with today's sports news.
Thanks very much, David. Well, Rory McIlroy failed to build on his impressive opening round at the HSBC Championship in Abu Dhabi. McIlroy carded a career best 64 yesterday and birdied 2 of his first 3 holes today, but played his next 11 in 3 over par before play was suspended because of darkness. Tyrrell Hatton is 5 clear of the field, with McIlroy currently 7 under. Leinster and Munster have named strong teams for their Pro 14 clash in Limerick tomorrow evening. Johnny Sexton captains Leinster, while Gary Ringrose returns from a jaw injury. Peter O'Mahony captains Munster, with JJ Hanrahan at out half. It is the last big clash before the Six Nations squad is announced, and one of Munster's big names believes there's more at stake as a result.
The game is massive. We should still treat it like another game. That's the most important thing, but obviously there's a bit more at stake, and guys want to be wearing the Irish jersey, and I think that's also very important. But I think when you get your goals right and you stick to your process at your union or your club, and you build great momentum and you start playing well, I think that's where the selection starts to get a lot easier.
Mick McCarthy looks set for a swift return to management. The 2-time Republic of Ireland boss is expected to be named as the new manager of Cardiff City just weeks after his spell in Cyprus with Abel Nicosia came to an end. Cardiff are currently 15th in the English Championship. It's FA Cup 4th round weekend, with Liverpool's clash against Manchester United the focus of attention. Tonight, lower league Chorley take on Wolves. Chorley pulled off a huge shock last time round, beating Derby County, and famously celebrated by singing an Adele song post-match. Their manager, Jamie Vermiglio, a school teacher by day, spent part of his childhood in Kerry and played, of course, for Killarney Celtic.
The magnitude of the game is just phenomenal, and when you do, when it's all done and dusted, whether we win, lose, or you can't really draw, and you do take a step back, I think it is going to be for years to come. For years to come, they're going to be talking about the team that's got to the 4th round, but hopefully they're going to be talking about the team that gets to the 5th round. And if we do that little minor chance that we've got, then it would be unbelievable for the players.
Paul Mannion has opted out of the Dublin football squad for the season ahead. The Kilmacud Crokes player's future had been the subject of some speculation of late. A statement issued by Dublin County Board confirmed Mannion, who has 6 All-Ireland medals, is stepping away for now. And that is all your sports news for now, so it's back to you once more, David.
Thanks, Eamon. The song N17, originally by the Saw Doctors, is at the top of the Irish iTunes chart this week, 30 years after it was first released. The song was re-recorded by Tolu McKay and the RTE Concert Orchestra for New Year's Eve and resonated with people who couldn't see their families because of COVID-19.
Well, I didn't see much future when I left the Christian Brothers School.
We all know the song, but this version of the Saw Doctors' N17, arranged by Gavin Murphy and performed by Tolu McKay and the RTE Concert Orchestra, captured people's hearts when they heard it on the RTE New Year's Eve show.
And I wish I was on the N17.
Originally written about emigration, the pared-back delivery gave it added meaning for people and their families kept apart by COVID-19.
As they're sending me their messages, I'm reflecting on my own story as well, because with the whole pandemic, I haven't had to see half of my family. We just have to adapt with the time. So as much as everyone is so emotional, hearing everyone's story made me feel like we were all in this together.
The original version of the song was a hit for the Saw Doctors 30 years ago, and they're delighted to see it at the top of the charts.
There are so many great songs in the world that when somebody chooses to do one of ours, it's a great surprise and a privilege. And for it to get such a brilliant treatment, Gavin Murphy's orchestral arrangement is fabulous. And then, of course, what can I say about Tolu's singing? She really put her heart and soul into it.
A song that once touched an emigrant audience, reimagined and taken to the hearts of a new generation.
Traveling with just my thoughts and dreams.
Sinead Crowley, RTE News.
Now, before we go, a look at the main news again. The head of the HSE has said the public health system is advancing into an extremely perilous position with rising numbers entering intensive care. Tonight, there are 26 ICU beds available in the country. Earlier, the Taoiseach confirmed current level 5 restrictions would remain in place beyond the end of this month.
Well, that is the 6-1 News this Friday. From all the team, thanks for watching. Have a good evening and do take care. Bye-bye.
Lads. Oh, thank you. I will.
Enjoy the great taste and nutritional benefits of Avonmore lactose-free milk.
Good evening. Well, it is going to stay very cold for the next few days, but there's going to be a lot of dry and bright weather for the weekend. Now, there is a yellow snow and ice warning out at the moment for Ulster and most of Connacht. That's until 12 noon tomorrow. So we will see some showers of hail, sleet and snow with some icy conditions too. Now, at the moment, there's a mixture of clear spells and scattered showers over Ireland. Most of those showers are affecting the northwest. Those showers will continue for this evening and into tonight as well. Again, mainly in the northwest with a risk of some sleet and snow in places. So tomorrow, Saturday, generally a dry day with good long spells of sunshine, but cloud will increase in the west with a band of rain, sleet and snow pushing eastwards across the country tomorrow night. That will clear away to the east on Sunday then, so a good deal of dry weather, just some scattered wintry showers around, and Monday is looking like a mostly dry and sunny day. So as I said, some scattered showers across the country at the moment, heaviest and most frequent across the northwest. Those showers then will continue through the evening, mainly in the northwest, some of those wintry with hail, sleet and snow, most places dry and clear overnight though. Now it will be a very cold night, lows of -3 to -1 degrees, so widespread frost and ice. Winds will be generally light to moderate overnight tonight. Now, a very cold and frosty start to the day tomorrow, but it will overall be dry and sunny. Cloud increasing in the west later in the afternoon with rain reaching western coasts. That will move eastwards tomorrow evening and night, turning to sleet and snow as it does so. It'll be another cold day tomorrow, highs of just 2 to 5 degrees with generally light to moderate westerly winds. That's all for now. Have a good evening.
Enjoy the great taste and nutritional benefits of Avonmore lactose-free milk.
Because classes are happening at home right now,